What's up everybody, Camero here, and welcome to part 72 of my How to Make a Pokemon Game tutorial series. In this episode, we are going to be looking at uncatchable Pokemon. First, we're going to change our scripts to make wild Pokemon uncatchable, and then we're going to add a switch so we can toggle the uncatchable state on or off. Then afterwards, we're actually going to add uncatchable ghost Pokemon like from Lavender Town with some scripts by Richard PT. We're going to add the Sylph Scope as a key item in our game, and then we're going to update all of our scripts to include all of the ghost battle logic. And then we're going to add our ghost battler image, and then we're going to have a perfectly good looking ghost battle. With all that said, let's get into it. So here I am on Route 7 of an older project, and what I've got here is a battle against a Marowak. It's not really using a Marowak graphic, it's just a little berry here. And then right here we have a Ghastly battle. So what we would like to do is make it so that way these Pokemon are uncatchable. And then afterwards we can look into making them ghosts. But right now, all we need to do is go into our script editor, and we need to scroll on down to Pokebattle_battle, right here. And we can actually just scroll down to around line 45 here, and add in some new stuff. So this is the PB throw Pokeball method, and what we could do is make it so that way at the very start of this method, if a switch is set to true, then it'll say, hey, that wild Pokemon dodged the Pokeball, or it smacked the Pokeball away, this Pokemon cannot be caught. So let's do that right now. Let's make it so that way if we want to do $game_switches and then brackets and then the number of our switch. Let's make it so that way it's switch 80. If switch 80 is set to on, then what will happen is it will play some text. And what we want to do is we want to do PB display underscore INTL and then more parentheses. The reason it does that is this is just the format of how other text displays work, such as this. So what we can do is do that exact same format here, and it'll say the wild Pokemon dodged the ball. It cannot be caught. I spelled caught wrong. It cannot be Kate. Cool. And then what we can do afterwards is just do return and then end. So if switch 80 is on, when we throw a Pokeball, it'll say, hey, that wild Pokemon dodged the ball. It cannot be caught. And then it will do return to exit the method and then just end. So let's showcase that working in game right now. I actually made another event over here that just turns switch 80 on or off. So let's get into our game right now and battle our Marowak. In our inventory, we should have a whole bunch of Master Balls. So let's just battle this Marowak. Right now, switch 80 is off. So we should be able to catch the Marowak here. And it's raining. Okay. Marowak, I got a Master Ball with your name on it. Haha! And I also have my speed up switch, so let's just speed this up real quick. There we go. Look at that, that's pretty great. Now, let's turn switch 80 on. So if switch 80 is on, wild Pokemon cannot be caught. Let's battle this Marowak again, shall we? I'm gonna speed this up a little. At least I'll try to. There we go. Bag, Master Ball. Now let's use another Master Ball on this Marowak. Whoa, it dodged the Pokemon. Or the wild Pokemon dodged the ball. It can't be caught. You know what? I think that was a fluke. Let's try throwing another Master Ball at it. Surely this one will work also. Oh no! Look at that. So, that's actually a very easy way to make wild Pokemon uncatchable. All you have to do is go and edit this one chunk of script. If you want, you could also do another switch. You could make it so that way, say, if switch 81 is on, and you could have a different method here. You could say, the Marowak is angry. It smacked away the ball. So that way, if switch 81 is on, then it'll say that. And then we could actually go into our Marowak battle, and we could insert switch 81 to be true here. Let's call this, I don't know, let's call this Angry Marowak. There we go. So if Angry Marowak is on, and then we can turn it off right afterwards. There we go. So now if we try to catch this Marowak, it'll play a different message. That's pretty neat, right? All right, Marowak, I swear I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you with this Master Ball, Marowak. Okay. Get him, Pikachu. Even though you don't stand a chance. That Bone Meringue did a lot of damage. All right. Haha! The Marowak is angry. It smacked away the ball. That's pretty cool. So, that is how you could use switches to display a specific message in a battle. So that's basically the ins and outs of uncatchable Pokemon, but this tutorial is not over, not even close. There's a lot more stuff we need to do, so let's actually real quick first go and delete all this, and then let's go in and delete these real quick. So, we have a lot to do now if we want to add ghost Pokemon to our game, and it's actually really cool. This resource here created by Richard PT for Poke Community is amazing, and I've been referencing this for my own testing. And yeah, it's basically an awesome step-by-step guide on how you can add these ghost Pokemon battles to your game. And of course, I feel lame basically reciting another tutorial within my tutorial, but I'm gonna walk it through with you step by step. So let's start adding ghost Pokemon to our game. The very first thing we need to do is we need to go to our game folder. Let me just open it up real quick. And we need to go to our PBS here, and we need to go to items.txt. And we need to scroll on down to the bottom, and here we just need to add the Sylph Scope. So let's call this 526, and let's do Sylph Scope. All right, Sylph Scope, Sylph Scopes. And I think what we can do is just treat this the same as all these other key items. So this would be 8, 0, and the description of it would be, we can call it a scope that allows the user to see the unseen. Ooh. Okay, and then we could just do comma 0, comma 0, comma 6, comma, because that's how all these others are defined. Cool. So now we've actually added the Sylph Scope to our game. This is also part of the tutorial here by Richard PT, and he even includes the graphic here for the Sylph Scope. So let's just download this real quick, shall we? Sylph Scope, I'm gonna add you to my game. So let's go to our game folder here. I made a specific folder here called Ghost Tutorial. So let's go to our graphics, let's go to our icons, and we just wanna name this, I believe, item 526. So there's 525. Let's add it in as item 526. There we go. So now we've basically done all we needed to do to add the Sylph Scope to our game, but there's still a lot more to do. The very first thing that we need to do is scroll on down to the scripting section here, and this is where we're going to do a lot of fun stuff. The first thing we want to do is we want to expand this and really just copy everything here. This is a Lavender Ghost battle script created by Richard PT. So we just want to copy that, go into our game scripts here, scroll on down, and make sure that it's placed above main. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using a bunch of like other plugins, or rather, right now I only have the speed up one by Marin, but this is where we would insert this additional plugin. And I believe we just want to call this Lavender Ghost Battle. And let's paste that in. Cool. So you'll notice here, there's not too much crazy stuff going on here, but there's a couple things we can modify for our own game if we want. Graphics, battlers, ghost.png is where we would place our ghost graphic. And that ghost graphic is actually, I believe, included in the tutorial as well. It's right down here at the very bottom. I've actually already downloaded this, but this is where you would download it as well. What I've done is I've downloaded it, and I actually modified it a little bit because it was kind of small. Like, I went into Photoshop and I just doubled the pixel size of this. Let me real quick go back to my Pokemon stuff. Pokemon, here we are. Ghost. So when it originally came in, it was 80 by 80, so I doubled it, so now it's 160 by 160, and I moved it up a little bit. So I'll include this in the description of the video. I'll also include the link to the tutorial by Richard PT in the description of this video. I'm going to include it all in the description, don't you worry. But yeah, it looked a lot better when I made it 160 by 160, doubling it in size and moving it up a little bit. So yeah, this will be our ghost graphic. So let's actually just take that, go into our game, let's go into graphics, battlers, and let's just paste that in right there. So we just need ghost.png. He's just going to hang out at the bottom of this list now, but we will see him in due time. So now that we've added our ghost graphic, let's go and look at some of the other sections of this script. The important one here is ghost maps. What this is it is an array of map IDs where the ghost logic will take place. So for example, if you're creating a Lavender Town tower, you would want to include the IDs of all your maps here. And once again, the maps ID can be seen in the bottom right here. Our map that we're on, Route 7, that is map ID 47. So we could just add 47 to this list, but let's say we only want it to occur on map 47. what we can do is we can get rid of everything else, so it's only map 47. Map 47 is the only ghost map. Cool. And what we can do here, notice the this Sylph Scope callout here at the bottom. If you instead wanted to make a different item that you wanted to use for your game to see ghosts, this is where you could change the bit of the script here. So this is a very important function here that we will be using a lot, the is ghost encounters active. What this does is it returns true or false. It'll be true if we're on a ghost map and we don't have the Sylph Scope. Makes sense, right? Is ghost encounters active will return false if we're not on a ghost map, so if I'm on map 48 or 49, or if I have the Sylph Scope. If I'm holding the Sylph Scope, then of course ghost encounters aren't active anymore, and I can see the enemy that I'm trying to battle. Cool. So that is the first step. Now what we need to do is we need to go in and modify the rest of our scripts. So let's all do that one step at a time, shall we? What we need to do now is we need to go to PokeBattle_scene, and we need to do some replacements of some of the existing scripts. So let's go into our scripts once again. I'm going to be saying scripts a lot in this tutorial, holy moly. It's already starting to not sound like a word. Let's go to PokeBattle_scene here, and let's take a look at the line that they want us to replace. So it's right around here where it's setting the bitmap of the enemy battler. The logic here, it will be if Ghost Encounter is active, it loads the Ghost bitmap, but if Ghost Encounters is not active, then it loads the standard bitmap. So let's just go in to PokeBattle_scene and do Control F, and let's look for, I believe, what was it, set bitmap? Is it right around here? Maybe I'm looking for the wrong thing. Let's take a look at more specific set Pokemon bitmap. Ah. Let's just search this whole line of code here, shall we? Set Pokemon bitmap at battle. Find next. Here it is. So this is where it's setting the bitmap for our Pokemon. What we can do is actually, we can go and select this whole thing here and delete it. And then we can actually paste in all of this red code right here to also include the end bit. Cool. Copy and paste. Now, if Ghost Encounter is active, then what it'll do is it'll set it so that way the sprite, or a ghost is equal to the enemy, and the sprite of our enemy is set to the ghost bitmap. Otherwise, it'll just load the enemy sprite bitmap as normal. Cool. So that's the first chunk of code already replaced. There's a couple more we gotta do, so bear with me, but we're gonna get this done in no time. Now we need to go to PokeBattle_AI, and we need to make it so that way instead of attacking us, the ghost just tells us to get out. So, well, let's go into our scripts, PokeBattle_AI, and we need to find the bit of code that they want us to replace. So I'm going to search for choose a move. Control F, choose a move. Cool. So, right around here is where we want to add our own code. So, we want to go back into the tutorial here. If, and we want to also include this end. So, just copy that chunk, and I believe we just want to paste it right down there. And then let me also make sure that the alignment looks good. Pressing tab there. Cool. So I believe that looks like a good replacement. Actually, no. I added it here within the for loop. We don't want to do that. We want to add it right above the for loop. There we go. Now that looks better. So if we're in a wild battle, and if we're in a ghost encounter, then instead it'll just display the text, get out, and then it'll return, and then it'll end. So the wild ghosts should never attack us. They'll just tell us to get out. This is how AI choose their attacks that they want to hit you with. So yeah, we're just bypassing that entire method here. Cool. Let's move on to the next chunk of code, shall we? The next chunk of code is in PokeBattle_battle. So let's hide this. Here we go. In PokeBattle_battle, this is the method that we looked at earlier, actually, PB throw Pokeball. What we can do is actually just modify that method that we've already modified. Let's go to PokeBattle_battle here, and we can go up right here to PB throw Pokeball. The way that they have this set is if the game switch is on, then the Pokemon can't be caught. But we also have to add an or here. Or then is Ghost Encounters active. Let's copy this and go and paste that in. So the way that this works is if game switch 80 is on, I said that weird. If game switch 80 is on, then we can't catch our Pokemon. But if Ghost Encounters active is on, then we also can't catch our Pokemon. So this is an or here, not an and. If either of these conditions is true, then we cannot catch our Pokemon. So now that that chunk of code has been added, let's actually go back into this tutorial here and say that this is done, and we can move on to the next. What we want to do is move on further down in the same script, and we want to look for the got away safely bit here. This is where it determines us running away from the Pokemon. So let's just add that really quickly. We need to scroll on down here, and right above this end is where we need to paste in a new little bit of code here. So if Ghost Encounter is active and we run away, it'll say got away safely. Bada boom. There we go. So I don't know why this is 100% necessary, but hey, I'm going to follow that tutorial and I'm going to add all the good stuff. Okay, and I'm also copying this PBSE play battle fleece, that way we can run away from them. Nice. Now, what we need to do is within the same script, we need to now look for the initialize wild Pokemon bit here. And this is where it sets the name of our wild Pokemon to ghost, and it sets the ghost gender to no gender. So let's copy this chunk right here, and let's go into our script once again. And within this same script, we need to Control F, initialize wild Pokemon. Right on. So I believe it was right under here, wild Pokey at party 2, 0. Okay, paste that in. So now our wild Pokemon's name will be Ghost, and it will not have a gender if Ghost Encounters active is on. All right, and once again, to reiterate, Ghost Encounters active will return true if we're standing in a ghost map, which is map ID 47 here, and we don't have the Sylph Scope. So Ghost Encounters active will be true right now when we just do any battle on this map. So let's go into our tutorial once more. And there is one more thing we need to add. What we need to do is make it so that way if the Pokemon we're fighting is a ghost and Ghost Encounters is active, then only then will our set scene for the wild Pokemon be true for our Pokedex. So to break down this logic in a way that's a little bit less confusing, if we're not fighting a ghost, then it'll do PB set scene wild Pokey and it'll add it to our Pokedex. If we are fighting a ghost, it shouldn't add that to our Pokedex. So let's go ahead and copy this, and let's go into our game now. And then what we can do is we can find the PB set scene here and replace that. So PB set scene, once again, will only occur if it's not a Ghost Encounter type. The exclamation means not. So if Ghost Encounters active is not true, then we will set scene wild Pokey. Okay, hopefully that wasn't a bit redundant. I did find myself repeating myself a lot there, but anyway, it's whatever. That's how it works. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to go and find the wild blank appeared chunk of code, which is actually super close to where we just were, and replace it with another conditional here. So let's actually just go in and copy all of this conditional, and then we'll break it down. So once again, let's copy that code. Let's go on in here, and where it says wild Pokemon, oh, check it out, I was doing some coding here earlier. Let's get rid of all of that, and let's paste this in. So, if Ghost Encounters is active, I'm going to actually be pressing tab here also to fix the formatting. Paste, paste, paste. Okay. Else, and then paste this in here. All right, and then the party length 2 thing, actually, we didn't really need to copy that, so we can actually just go and delete that. Bloop, bloop. Okay, so if Ghost Encounter type is active, instead of saying a wild blank appeared, it'll say a ghost appeared. Darn, the ghost can't be ID'd. Otherwise, it'll say wild Pokemon appeared. Cool. That makes sense, right? If we're fighting a ghost, it'll tell us a ghost appeared. If we're not fighting a ghost, it'll just say, hey, the wild blah, blah, blah appeared. So if we're fighting a Ghastly, it'll say the wild Ghastly appeared. Nice. Pretty straightforward, right? So I think we're just about done. There's a little bit more that we need to do. What we need to do now is make it so that way our Pokemon cannot attack the ghost. We need to do the same thing that we've been doing, but instead go into the command phase here and make it so that way our command won't go through if we're fighting a ghost. So let's just go in and copy this bit here, and let's do Control F, command phase. Here we go. So the command phase here is when we're choosing our attacks, and we can scroll on down a little bit to here. If command 0 is fight. So if the fight command is chosen, rather than showing us our list of attacks, let's immediately tell us that our Pokemon is frozen in fear. So after choosing fight, if ghost encounter is active, so basically if we're fighting a ghost, it'll say our Pokemon is too scared to move. And then underneath, instead of this being an if, let's change this to else if. Bada boom. Now that should be everything that we need to do for our scripting. So if we're fighting a ghost, then our Pokemon will be too scared to move. Otherwise, it'll check to see if we can show our fight menu, and then we'll show our fight menu, and everything will go naturally. Cool. So let's consult the guide once more, and that's about it. The third part of this guide references using events, but I found that this was unnecessary, so we're not going to do this. We can actually get it working without all of this. Nice. So all of our scripts have been added. Thank you very much once again, Richard PT, for compiling this resource. This is fantastic. This is so good. So let's go into our game now real quick. Actually, no, before I launch it, let's add an event that gives us a Sylph Scope. We are gonna need it. We are definitely gonna need it. There we go. So we are on map 47. So every Pokemon that we fight should be a ghost. And then once we pick up the Sylph Scope, they should no longer be ghosts. And we shouldn't be able to fight ghosts, and we shouldn't be able to catch ghosts. So let's showcase all of that working in our game. We don't have the Sylph Scope, but wild Pokemon are currently catchable because we haven't done anything with Event 80. Let's try to fight a wild Ghastly right now. Oh my gosh, it's a ghost! I may have pushed it a little bit too high up there on the sprite, but darn, the ghost can't be ID'd. Oh, that's very spooky. What are we gonna do here? I know, I'm gonna throw a Master Ball at it. Haha, take this, ghost. The wild Pokemon dodged the ball. Oh no! He's telling me to get out now. That's kind of spooky. I'm gonna fight it. Oh, I'm too scared to move. And he's just telling us to get out. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna run. Get me out of here, spooky ghosty. Wow, that was very spooky. So, let's acquire a Sylph Scope now. Now that we have a Sylph Scope within our inventory, we should be able to see this ghost. Oh my goodness, we can see him now. Aha, you know what that means. That means we can catch him now. All right, Ghastly, Master Ball onto you. Haha! And look at that. It works like a charm. Nice. So I will close the game now. Bada boom. So we've got all of our ghost event working perfectly. If we want to, we could tweak these messages a little bit. So instead of saying they're too scared to move, you could say your Pokemon is frozen in fear, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, everything is looking pretty great so far. Let me now show you another project where I tried doing this exact same thing, but with Elite Battle System. It's unfortunate, but I'm a bit of a newbie when it comes to stuff like this, and I couldn't figure out how to get it working for Elite Battle System. All of the logic is set up, but for some reason, Elite Battle System overwrites a lot of the scripts for the default Pokebattle _ battle. So instead of saying that we're fighting a ghost, it says a wild Ghastly appeared. And instead of using the ghost graphic that we've set, it's using the actual Ghastly sprite. But if we go to throw a Pokeball at it, it'll say it dodged the ball. This Pokemon can't be caught. And then ghost, get out, get out. So all of that script is working just fine. And I'm too scared to move, which is also just fine. But yeah, so it doesn't really work the greatest with Elite Battle System. Elite Battle System is fantastic and awesome and amazing, and I love it, but sometimes it does things a little bit too well. Anyway, now that we've picked up the Sylph Scope, we should be able to catch this Ghastly now. I just want to showcase that this is working. Let me activate my speed up switch real quick. There we go. Now I'm in speedy mode. Okay, let's chuck a Master Ball at this. There we go. Cool. So now that we've got the Sylph Scope, we can actually catch the Ghastly here. Anyway, so that's it with Elite Battle System. It doesn't work 100%, unfortunately. But if you're not using Elite Battle System, then you can get some real cool stuff going on here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode. Hopefully, this has stirred your curiosity in adding events where Pokemon are uncatchable, and maybe even messing around with some of the logic for fighting wild Pokemon. There's a lot of cool stuff to do here, and once again, this is all made possible to the tutorial that Richard PT made. This is fantastic, an amazing resource, and hopefully this has helped you look into how you can add Ghost-type Pokemon, or not Ghost-type Pokemon, Ghost Battle Pokemon of your own. Yeah, Pokebattle _ battle, going to the Throw Pokeball event and messing around with that is the first start, but hey, if you want to delve deeper, there's resources here that should hopefully help you with that. Anyway, I'm rambling once again. Be sure to follow me on those social links in the description, and be sure to have a good one. Until next time, you guys, I hope that you all have a good one.